We have exclusive new reporting tonight about the man who died in a confrontation with police after firing a nail gun at a Cincinnati FBI building. Our own Ben Collins reports the subject appeared to post online about his desire to kill FBI agents shortly after Mar-a-Lago was searched. Back with us tonight is Ben Collins, NBC News senior reporter, and Clint Watts still with us. Ben, what else do we know? What else can you tell us about your reporting?
Yeah, so this guy went to the Capitol on January 6th. That's the number one thing we know about this person. But he was very committed to this. He was a very committed Truth Social user and had been using it extremely frequently over the last month or so. In fact, a couple of days ago, he told everyone to explicitly go kill FBI agents on site. A user said they were going to report that to the FBI, and he eventually came back and said, bring it on. So that's how emboldened these extremists are right now on these forums. And they're on pretty pedestrian pro-Trump social forums. Truth Social is Donald Trump owned. It is a website that anyone can access. This is not the dark web. This is the very civilian pro-Trump internet. And if they can't catch this guy who was at the Capitol on January 6th, I don't really know who they can catch. By the way, his username was his actual name. So if they can't catch him, I really don't know if they can catch anybody.
So what are you seeing online now? Now that this has happened today, anything changing, getting worse, getting better?
Well, here's the deal. After all these attacks, they always say it's a false flag. That was agitate for this. They tell each other to go and, go kill federal officers, go kickstart civil war for us. And then the second it happens, they turn on that specific person. These people are dying, they believe, for a cause, and their community immediately turns on them, saying that they're a member of the FBI, that we wouldn't actually commit violence and all of this stuff. They get themselves so worked up for the revolution, for violence. And when it actually occurs, they never look inward because it would destroy their persecution complex. They believe they're constantly persecuted, and they can remain persecuted if they've never committed a terror attack like this one.
Clint, how worried are you that things are going to get more violent? The news doesn't sound like it's going to get better for the former guy anytime soon.
Quite worried, Stephanie. It's an election year. In an election year, all domestic extremists put a lot of pressure on their own organizations, on themselves to move forward. And when they can't resolve in some sort of political victory or social victory for the cause, they oftentimes move to violence. I think what's consistent in all of this is we're seeing this pattern of what's known as stochastic terrorism happening over and over, meaning that a leader, a political leader, a former president, they put out false information, conspiracies, and actually make claims or encourage people to mobilize or commit violence. The problem is the target is known, but the attacker is not. Much like today, we don't know who the individual is that's going to take up arms and try and assault an FBI building or attack FBI agents somewhere. The other part that scares me a lot when we see one of these attacks is when these attacks are successful, and luckily this one was not, but the more often that they're successful, the more often people try and copy them. We see this with mass shootings quite a bit, this contagion effect, where one attack leads to 1, 2, sometimes 3 more attacks in a very short span because there are many people considering this. And when you have elected leaders around the country calling for the FBI, the federal workers that they're supposed to be protecting, funding, providing budget for, using them as the target, well, they're also setting up their supporters to go confront the best marksman in the United States of America, ironically. So it's a weird conundrum that I see in our political rhetoric right now that keeps spilling out. And I'm quite frightened that over the next 2 or 3 weeks, particularly as the search warrant debate continues, you're going to see more attacks like this or attacks on other federal workers because these individuals oftentimes are not very bright and easily confused.
These federal workers who are just doing their jobs, and they're doing really important work. Ben Collins, Clint Watts, thank you both so much for being here tonight.